lovely lunch and you've been using the app to make some good connections. Thanks for joining this stream session. This is the stream on transparent, unbiased and fair AI. So for the next 2 hours you're able to pick your sessions and hear content that's most valuable to you. These talks will run in 15-minute increments with 5 minutes for questions and answers. Can I ask if you're going to other talks to leave very quietly so that we don't interrupt the question and answers? This session, Transparent, Unbiased and Fair AI, looks at what responsible AI will be in practice and is how to build frameworks that are safe for the future to ensure that AI develops as a force for good. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kate Devlin. I'm a Senior Lecturer in Social and Cultural Artificial Intelligence at King's College London. Kicking things off today, I'm delighted to welcome Ecem Yilmazhaliloglu. She is a high school student who's set on tackling diversity and the crisis in coding community. She's founded Technoladies in Turkey to deal with this, and she's going to be talking about inclusion, closing the gender gap in the fields of AI and technology. So please welcome Ecem to the stage.
Yilmazhaliloglu. I'm a 17-year-old high school student from Turkey, a diversity advocate, an ARFL alum and a founder of Technoladies. Before I proceed with my speech, I first like to thank the World AI for giving me this amazing opportunity to talk about inclusion AI, a topic that is quite personal for me. But it is also a great honor and pleasure to be here with you today, and not just because it allowed me to skip school for a few days, but really I'm thrilled to say that for the following 15 minutes, I'll be talking about closing the gender gap in the fields of technology and AI. I'd like to start by showing you an image. Does anyone else feel uncomfortable looking at this? It's a mess, right? All of the pieces scattered on the ground, there's no unity, no harmony, nothing other than chaos. And now, this was somehow satisfying. You can see the beautiful picture that only appears when all of those scattered different pieces come together. I think of each individual, each background, each gender, race, and ethnicity as unique pieces of this puzzle. In order to reveal the bigger picture, they have to work together because they all have an experience, a talent, or a unique quality that the others don't. Diversity within them is what creates originality and creativity in the final picture. And inclusion is the only way for them to harness the advantage of their differences and to create a beautiful harmony, something that will perhaps change each of their lives. So I say, to achieve something exceptional, we need to include all the pieces. AI is developing more rapidly than ever. It is estimated that by 2030, AI will have added $15 trillion to the world economy. According to the World Intellectual Property Organization, the number of AI patents has spiked, indicating a significant increase in AI-based products that will fundamentally change our lives. We can already see the signs of this massive change. AI is already a big part of our lives. It's our personal assistant or customer support, language translator, or even personal doctor. AI has a great potential to solve numerous pressing issues from different fields efficiently. AI can provide critical services for the well-being of humans, such as assisting with disaster relief, advancing healthcare, and enhancing agriculture. The possibilities are boundless, and the bigger picture of AI is beyond imagination. However, many people can't be a part of this thrilling concept because of the various barriers they face, because of their differences. Women, people of color, and many other marginalized groups are currently excluded from the right to be a part of the future, their own future. What makes these groups different is actually what makes them unique. Sadly, we continuously fail to recognize this. We interpret difference as a negative factor rather than an extremely valuable one. And this has an unfavorable impact on both AI and technology industries. To talk in numbers, only 25% of all competing jobs are held by women, and this number has been increasing steadily. According to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, 83% of tech executives are white, and the other groups only compose of the remaining 15% in the US. The numbers are even lower in the AI industry. A recent World Economic Forum report has revealed that only 22% of all AI professionals globally are female, compared to 78% who are male. These statistics are devastating. They point out the lack of diversity in AI, the problem that we call diversity crisis. Many of the pieces are still missing from our puzzle. As AI slowly takes its place in our lives, it also starts to undertake different tasks. It starts to decide on who is going to get a loan, on who is more likely to commit a crime, or who will be getting an interview for the job that they are applying. And that's where it becomes dangerous. That's where the diversity crisis in AI shows itself as bias. And if we do not intervene, this bias can pose a serious risk now and in the future. A few years ago, a large tech company experimented using an AI system to sift through the applicants' resumes and find the most likely recruitments. They trained the AI system with 10 years worth of recruitment data to find the patterns and assess the applicants accordingly. Of course, the data that was fed into the system was highly male-dominated, reflecting the current situation of the industry in general. Do you know what it learned by looking at the data? To penalize the resumes containing the word woman. Thus, it started penalizing the female applicants while favoring males and became a clear example of bias in AI systems, reinforcing the very inequalities that it was trying to overcome, starting with the gender gap. The bias in AI development occurs for various reasons, but these all stem from one thing: the lack of diversity and inclusion among those creating the AI systems. So let's go back to the figures. According to the World Economic Forum, women do not only compose less than 25% of AI professionals worldwide, but they also hold a significantly less number of leadership positions. While men work as head engineers, business owners, and CEOs, women are more likely to hold positions such as data analysts, researchers, and teachers. In other words, the gender gap is not only in numbers, but also in positions. This gap has devastating effects, both on the AI industry and our society. It prevents many talented women from entering the field of AI, and thus causes a huge loss of potential. It exacerbates the gender gap regarding the economic participation and results in a technology that is only developed by a particular group of people, but that should be affecting everyone. A technology that lacks diversity of thought and creativity, and thus is unable to innovate. As an aspiring computer scientist whose dream is to work in the field of AI and uses tremendous potential to help people, I can sincerely say that this is not the industry that I want to be working in. We need to recognize the severity of this problem and acknowledge the shortcomings of our current solutions. We need to take immediate action and include all of the pieces of the puzzle in AI development. So the real question is, why are these pieces missing, and what can we do about it? There are 6 lags that prevent the underrepresented groups from entering the AI field. These are the lack of awareness regarding the AI field and its potential to help solve crucial problems. Many people, especially the disadvantaged and underrepresented groups, don't have a clear understanding of AI, and thus they don't realize the potential that lies beneath it and gets easily discouraged. Lack of awareness regarding the diversity crisis and the gender gap in the field. In numerous communities, these inequalities are wrongly justified by traditions, which further discourages the underrepresented groups, creating the deception that the gender gap is an established rule that can't be broken. Lack of role models and advocates who demand equal representation for all and give others the courage to do so by setting a positive example of success. Lack of early introduction to technological concepts in AI, which results in young people ruling out the possibility of working in these fields and thus already giving in to the inequalities. Lack of opportunities or initiatives to get involved in this field, which prevents more people from following their dreams by basically withholding the tools necessary for them to enter the field. And last but not least, the lack of support, especially from peer to peer. So to address these 6 lacks, I found the Technoladies, which is basically an organization that promotes inclusion AI, helping mitigate the diversity crisis and close the gender gap in Turkey. The main idea behind Technoladies is to create a support platform to encourage young women to follow their passion in AI and technology in general, so that they won't go through the rough patches that many women in technology go through, including myself. We lend a helping hand to smart but excluded women through workshops, camps, weekly meetings, and Turkey's first all-girls hackathon, as well as a Women in Technology in AI summit that are in the planning stages. We have made many people realize that they have a choice, that they can pursue their interest in technology regardless of their gender, race, or ethnicity, and that is rewarding. Seeing this positive impact that we can create by lending a helping hand through organizations like Technoladies made me realize that we can all take action regarding these lacks within our own measures. That there is no insufficient action, and even small attempts at helping mitigate the lack of diversity counts for something. Industry, governments, NGOs, they can all work towards this by establishing programs with similar principles like Technoladies that will make AI education, application, and research available for everyone. By supporting the organizations and initiatives that already exist, and by collaborating with them to prioritize inclusion in AI and close the gender gaps. Because we cannot create the bigger picture with missing pieces. In conclusion, the diversity crisis in AI is severe, and if left unchecked, will have numerous unwanted outcomes, such as bias. If we do not take any actions immediately, this bias and the lack of diversity in the field of AI will pose a notable danger. No, I don't mean the Terminator. I mean the reinforcement of real-life discrimination, the inability to develop creative and durable solutions to problems that may go unseen by those who are already represented in the AI field. The lack of diversity is a problem that will end up hurting everyone, and thus we should all be taking action to ensure inclusion and diversity. We should all be implementing principles of efforts like Technoladies. Because AI is called the new electricity, as it will affect all of us, we should all have a say in it, regardless of our gender, race, ethnicity, or any other demographic variables. If we want to see this marvelous bigger picture at the end, all the pieces should come together. We should embrace each other's unique qualities, colors and shapes, different ideas and perspectives. Because to achieve something exceptional, we need to include all the pieces. Thank you.
Thank you so much for a really inspiring speech. Does anyone have any questions? Raise your hand. There's a microphone going to be floating around the floor. Well, I have some. That's good. So you worked with AI for All in order to set up Technoladies. Can you tell us a little bit about that, what it was like?
AI for All was a summer camp that was 3 weeks long, and I was one of the 20 girls chosen worldwide to attend it, and I was really lucky to be chosen there because AI for All gave me the tools that I needed to make a difference. It gave me the knowledge. It taught me how to code, how to make my own AI algorithm, and that was a really empowering moment for me. It also taught me that we could all stand up for what we believe in and do something about it. The diversity crisis in AI and the gender gap was an issue that's been bothering me for so long, and AI for All made me realize that I could actually do something about this, which was the inspiration behind my organization, Technoladies, to reach out to other students, other girls, like AI for All did for me.
Do you find there's lots of enthusiasm amongst people your age for doing this now?
Yeah.
So, anybody else, any questions? Yes? I think we have a microphone, do we? Sorry, you may not. You may want, if you want to shout, I can repeat your question.
Well, it's just...
Oh, yeah, this one here.
Hi, everyone. It's a very little statement. My name is Gökhan Yücel. I'm the Chief Advisor to the Turkish Minister of National Education. We're proud of you and your work. We're preparing a national strategy for our ministry on AI, and Ecem is also part of it, so thanks for your efforts for our work as well. Thank you very much. And Minister said, text for your classes will sort it out.
It's brilliant, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, there's a question
really
about
that.
The microphone coming to you now.
Thanks. That was a great presentation. My name is Ali Miller. I work at Amazon, and diversity in AI is one of the biggest things that I talk about in and out of work. Youth is who we're relying on. Like, there's no way that older generations are going to solve it. I appreciate it. I want to hear you describe the thing that makes you the most mad. Like, what is the thing that, when you present all those stats, when you look at our world today, when you talk to adults, when you talk to kids, what is like the angry thing that inspires you every morning to do what you're doing?
That's a really great question, thanks. What makes me mad the most is to see other people get discouraged by the prejudices that our society has. Let me give you an example. In my first year in high school, I was a member of the coding club. We were 20 students, and within that 20 students, there were only 2 girls, me and a friend of mine. That friend of mine dropped out of the club, and it was just a school club, after 2 weeks, because she felt lonely. She felt unwanted and excluded. And this is really, really maddening to see, because there is no reason that girl shouldn't be there. It's her right as much as the boys' right to be there. And I think that is what makes me wake up every morning and do what I do. Thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I think there's another one just here.
Maybe that question. I recently realized that we can hardly have a representation of women worldwide in politics.
Excuse me, could you please repeat the question?
Yeah. So basically, it's more I'm saying a realization. I don't know, but it's this issue that we have with STEM and the future skills. I do understand. Sometimes things happen, and sometimes things need a bit of help to improve our society. And then I came across with the fact that we don't have women in politics. We have hardly women in politics worldwide. So this is as well a call for understanding what's going on.
This is the lack of diversity at a political level.
Globally.
Yeah, globally, yeah.
Gender inequality is a problem that comes up in many aspects of our lives. It's not only in technology, it's also in other fields such as politics, athletics, and many other fields. But I think that it is especially significant in the fields of technology and AI, because, as I mentioned in my speech, only 22% of all AI professionals globally are female. This is really low. This shouldn't be like that. I couldn't hear you.
Another question? Yeah?
Hi, Ecem. Congrats. For a 17-year-old to be on stage and capture the audience, it's pretty intimidating. Well done. What I wanted to ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up?
That's a great question. I want to be a computer scientist. from your engineering more like, but I wanted to especially focus on AI because I believe that there's a tremendous potential that lies beneath it, and I want to explore the potential and use it for the good of people.
I think every academic in the room is now working out how to get Ecem to the university. Any final questions before we finish? Oh, there's one just here.
Maybe it's easy like this. Great sharing your ambition. How can we help you becoming a scientist?
Thank you so much. That is a perfect question. So there are more than one ways to help someone become a career scientist. I don't really know how to answer that.
What would Technoladies benefit from if you could ask for help for Technoladies here? Financial?
First of all, support.
What do you need? Yeah.
Support is the most crucial thing. Financial help, and there's something really funny. We can't find a video. We started off teaching at Starbucks and stuff, and now we're trying to find venues, but we are always getting turned down because we don't have any money. Because we're a volunteer organization, we work voluntarily, and yeah, that is a really great problem that we have right now.
If anyone here can help solve that problem and find a venue for the Technoladies to hold their training event, this is your chance. You can get in touch with Ecem afterwards.
Also, we want to reach out. Sorry. We want to reach out to more people, and to do that, we need to get recognition by other parties. We need to be understood and supported, and I think that's something else that we could really use.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for your talk today. I really appreciate it.
It was really great. Thank you.